Hello everybody, welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel, Lotus Moon Tarot. Today we are going to be talking about what to do with an incomplete deck or how to dispose of a deck that you no longer want. I have some new ideas for you guys as well as some ones you've probably heard of before, so if you just want to stick around and watch it all, I'd totally love that. I'll also be pulling some cards for you guys today and shuffling some of my favorite decks. I'm not going to be reading them, but if you want to look up any of the meanings on your own time or after you watch the video, or just leave a comment down below, you can. So one of the first things you can do with an incomplete deck, and it may sound silly, say you're missing a card or two, you can simply use the deck. I was told when I got my first deck that if you ever receive a deck with missing cards, that the energy is balanced, it's the way it should be, and you can use the deck even though it is missing the cards. The energy is just, that's the way it is when it found you or when you got it. If you don't want to use it anymore, though, you can gift the tarot card deck, and that is something that you probably want to tell the person that you're giving it to. Just say, hey, you might notice it's missing a card or two, and just let them know though everything's okay and they can use it. You may also be wondering, like, why are these decks incomplete, or what happened that makes them damaged anyways. Sometimes when you find a deck, it's damaged, just maybe years of using a deck, it can get damaged. There's also the things of some decks are, sad to say, made a little bit flimsier than others, or maybe that's your favorite deck and you use it a lot. The cards get worn out, they get bent, they crack. People tend to get rid of those types of cards if they, are causing some kind of disruption in their reading, like it's really obvious that a card has a crack in the back of it or something like that. So far we've said we can either gift it or we can use the deck as we want. Another idea we can do, especially this is also when you're gifting it, another idea you can do when you gift it is hide it somewhere or put it somewhere inconspicuous or somewhere maybe even obvious that someone will find it. You can always put a note with the deck and say, please adopt me. I had a friend, she found one of her first decks that way. She was just out about and she sat down to take a break from her long day at work, and she turned around and there was a deck sitting there with a little note on it, and it had a bag and crystals and everything in it. She took it home and it was one of her favorite decks for a long time. So you can leave a note with something like that that says, please adopt me. That's a fun way to get rid of a deck. Some people also like to burn their decks if they're incomplete or they feel like the energy is negative or bad. You can definitely do that. One thing that I have seen people or heard of people doing is wrapping their deck up if they're going to do that, either in sort of a brown paper bag, putting it in a jar, wrapping it in a cloth to insulate the energy. When you burn something, then you also bury it so that the energy of that will get absorbed back up into the earth. So that is, another idea that you can do. I also heard somebody say you need to turn your back to the flames as the deck is burning to release the ties that you may have to the deck or any energy that the deck may be clinging to you. So that is another idea. Now these last two ideas are going to be a little bit different, and maybe it's something that might interest you. They are kind of new ideas that I was thinking about, or things that I've done with my, poor decks that are just worn to death. The first one is kind of a fun one. It doesn't require you to do anything different. You can turn it into a majors only deck. So what that would mean is this only works if you're not missing the major cards, obviously, but you just pull out all the major arcanas, or you can pull out all the suit cards if you want to do that too, or the kings and queens. All of those you can pull out, and you can kind of break it up into sub decks or mini decks. I like to do the major arcanas because I can use those as sort of like an oracle deck at the beginning or ending of a reading, and just pull strictly from a major arcana so I get a better idea of what the reading is about or what the question is about. So that is a fun way, and then you don't lose it or get rid of it. You can also just keep the rest of the cards with you in case you find somebody later that you want to gift it to. just kind of keep the cards separate. The last idea is kind of fun. This is something I discovered a couple months ago, and I am excited about it. And if you guys are a part of this, please leave a little shout out down in the bottom comments and let me know, say hi, whatever. But there is a Facebook group that I found, and it is a lot of fun. What everybody does on there is they post their decks for sale. You can do that as well, or they can post their cards for sale or for trade, and you can do them at one at a time. The group that I like the best for doing this is the Alley. You guys can look them up. I did not start this. I don't know a whole lot about the group other than we get to trade cards and it's a lot of fun. It's creating a whole new deck of mixed matched cards. Some people just get on there to find like one or two cards you're looking for. So if you are missing that one card, you can get on there and say, hey, I have this deck. Has anyone seen, you know, the 8 of Wands from the whatever deck it is that you have? A little bit fun stuff about the Alley is also, this goes back to a deck called the Alley Man or the Alleyway Oracle decks and Tarot decks. It's just basically like a hodgepodge, or they call magpie deck. It's a collection of mixed match decks. If you are going to get into the group and just do the trading portion of it, basically you need to make sure that your cards are standard tarot card size or relatively close to it. I know some decks or creators that make decks, manufacturers, they run a little bit smaller or a little bit larger. I'm not sure why, but with trading and everything like that, the decks are just, you know, they want to keep all the decks kind of similar. So if you're creating a brand new deck with a bunch of mixed matched cards, that is still easy to shuffle. You can still do a reading from it and that sort of thing. So if you guys like this video or have other ways that you guys like to dispose of your decks or get rid of your decks, or what do you do with partial decks, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are doing. That way the community learns together, we grow together, and we find new ideas for you know, keeping the decks that we have around and not just, you know, completely throwing them in the trash. Which, by the way, if you're doing that, I want to say no judgment, but I'm judging you. It is horrible to just throw your deck in the trash. Please don't do that. It is somewhat thought to be sort of sacrilegious in a way, or to be some people like myself get a little offended that if somebody does that. You don't throw Bibles in the trash. This is a spiritual tool of divination, so you want to treat it with respect and kindness. So rehoming it is always a good option, or properly disposing it. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and if you learned something in this video or like this type of content, like always, don't forget to like the video so other people see it. Leave a comment so you join the conversation, or subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you just want to see more stuff from it. Thank you. Bye.